basically a conversation with all of you from the films that we've just seen. A panel on why amazing, how women are awesome and men kind of suck, but we like them. So let's start with you guys, because you're here. Year 33. Tell us how you started on this journey, how it all came about.
Well, I have a background in film, and Janna has a background in chemistry, and we wanted to. We came together and we just knew that we wanted to do something. We realized we both had a dream. We wanted to make a difference. We weren't sure how. We ended up doing a film, and we started out thinking a clean water initiative. And so we went to Cambodia, doing research in Cambodia, and when we were there during our research phase, we stumbled across the story of this art revival, and we couldn't put it down. We kept talking about it, even though, of course, we're doing Clean Water Initiative. That's what our film was going to be about. But we couldn't stop thinking about it, and it just got stuck in both of our hearts. And one day we just looked at each other, we're like, we have to change our entire film. And so we did. We changed everything, and we just changed our focus. And there's something about this art revival that it came from nothing. Cambodia used to be called the Pearl of Asia. For a long time, their arts is so much a part of their culture and who their self-identity is. And then to have it taken away, as it was during the genocide, where 90% of artists were killed.
And well, now the next generation is the 10% that survived they're called master artists, because they're not, these art forms aren't taught, they're not written down, they're taught generation to generation, so person to person. And so when 90% of them are wiped out, a lot of the culture is on the brink of being lost as well. So now the next young generation is learning from these master artists, but they're also taking influence from around the world. It's still very, very true to Cambodia. It's not homogenized in any way, but it's breathtaking what they're doing, because it's not just an art revival. It's symbolic to their attitude of, we are not going to let this genocide keep us down. And they're living in a developing country. They don't have very many, if any, resources. So what they're doing is incredibly brave. And we wanted to, we looked around and we're like, well, no one else is doing it. Well, I guess we should do it.
And how did you get access to the people that you were profiling?
We found two of our artists we found some organizations that we really agreed with everything that they were doing and how careful they were in the manner and the sustainability and the way they went about things. And so we started with them and asking them to reach out to their network. Another was just, again, through kind of a fluke. And as we met with each of them, we kind of explained, this is what we're doing, do you want to be a part? And it was like the floodgates of their deepest hopes, their deepest grievances, all of their struggles, all of everything that they put their energy towards and for what reason. And I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, we were surprised, I guess, to go through a really harsh tragedy that affected every single person in the entire country. It was affected through a horrible tragedy. You'd think they'd want to keep it in, they'd be bitter, but instead it was the exact opposite. Everyone wanted to tell their story, and the words were just spilling out of them all the time. And Soviet, who was there at the end, is like, this is the first time, the second time that I've invited anyone to my house. He's ashamed of the poverty that he was living in, but he's told me, he's like, now is the time for Cambodia to stand up. Now is the time for the world to recognize what Cambodia is capable of.
And moving down the line to more beauty and art coming from really difficult situations. Alejandra and Juliana from Landfill, Harmonic. And I remember sitting in a restaurant years ago with you, and you saying, I really want to make this film. And tell us how your journey started.
Unlike you, I have no film experience whatsoever. I didn't have it back then. It sort of came through me as a desire to get back to Paraguay, my country. I'm from Paraguay. And I knew of the struggles of the children in my country, and I always felt that deep connection and trying to find a way of how can I be of assistance, how can I bring awareness to this issue I love film as well, and watching a few great documentaries, the light sort of clicked, and I said, this is the best tool I can utilize to create the awareness that I would like to and help. So the first idea came to contact Juliana, and I mentioned, my dream. So she said, yeah, we can do it, that's easy. That was 5 years ago.
I understand that.
So that really took us on this really amazing journey, lots of ups and a lot of downs. But it's survived, and it's thriving at the moment, and we're very excited with what we've captured and the work that seeing the transition and the transformation of the community and the children, particularly because of the music schools and creating their own instruments from garbage. And I'll let Juliana, if you want to fill in.
Yeah, so Alejandra told me it wasn't that easy, but with somebody with film background, we were like, we can make it, we can make it happen. And we went to Paraguay back in 2009 for the first time, and we started looking for a story that would tell the situation of the children in Paraguay, and then we found this beautiful story of the children. When we found out about it, we fell in love, and Alejandra said, we have to do it. 4 or 5 years later, we're here. And we did follow, the beautiful thing is that we follow the transformation of these kids, It's not only following the transformation of garbage and music, is a personal transformation. But a transformation doesn't happen over months. That's why it took this long to actually see a change.
And you went viral. I mean, you made a movie or a clip of a movie, and now it's become a movement. Can you talk a little bit about that sort of tipping point and how that happened?
So back last year, after 4 years of it was really hard, as you may know, making documentaries is not easy. My background is actually in independent feature films, and after 3 feature films, this was my first feature documentary. And 4 years later, Alejandra and I doing grants, doing sponsorships, everything, we're like, hey, we have to tell people that this is a beautiful story. How do we tell people that we have, it was so frustrating because knocking on doors and then people is like, oh yeah, it's nice back, right? And then 4 years, we see this story passing in front of our eyes, and we didn't have money to go there. I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna get there. They're gonna get the invitation to leave the country for the first time. They're gonna get the passports. They're gonna get into a plane, and we have no money, and we are missing this. This is Alejandra putting all her money in, and then me, I stopped doing films, feature films, and we started working this together. So finally, we said, let's just put together a 5 minutes, and thank you very much because, by the way, you were the first donor that helped us to give us the seed to start that teaser. So we said, let's launch a teaser together. Let's put something 5 minutes. Let's show distributors. At that point, we were looking for 5,000 followers in Facebook. And we were like, 5,000, 10,000, we can go to a distributor in 30 days and see and tell them that we have an audience. Well, 30 days went by and it was 1 million. And we were like, oh my God, we can't keep up the phone. It was like 60 minutes on ABC and CBS, and we were like, oh my God, we were so humbled, to get so much
attention. All of a sudden after.
And it was like a Cinderella story, not just for the kids, but also for the filmmakers and for us helping them. And now, I don't want to tell you the end of the film, but since you guys are here. but now the kids are really traveling the world since that teaser went out. So it was beautiful seeing it.
And Maria Bello, who's an activist, a vociferous voice for the underdog, and such a powerful force, and you've been in this space for years. And how have you been able to be so effective at telling your stories and making an impact?
First, I want to say I'm in awe of all of you. I've always seen this. Your fortitude and stick-to-itiveness, and
you know, when I was your age, I wouldn't even know how to do what you guys are doing, even though I was a traveler and wanted to be a traveler. Is there a cricket in the room? So I'm really in awe of you. And Creative Visions, you know, you introduced me to Jahan, well, my son first. My 10-year-old son met Jahan, who did the square. And it's the first time I started to see these movements created by women directors, you know, women producers, where I went, wow, this is a different story. And it reminded me of women journalists from the 1940s, even World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Korea. They were always on the front line. And what made their stories different were that they were personal. And they got deep into the personal. And oftentimes their stories had a positive aspect about them. You know, I don't think I can take another documentary that just like puts me in the gutter and I'm exhausted from it. I somehow want to be uplifted. I produced 2 short documentaries in Haiti, and they were both like that. They took, you know, it's real people, but it's also moving. So it's educating, it's entertaining to educate. And I feel like all of your films, from what I've seen and what I've heard, do just that. And I think that's the way to start movements.
Absolutely. Tell us briefly where you are now, where you want to be, and your sort of call to action for the rest of us.
Okay, well, we're a really small team. We're like you guys, it's just the 2 of us doing the film, and that's a lot of work. Funds for post-production, but we're just trying to raise that. So if we could just get some help and actually make this film finished.
Then
and
this is the campaign to follow.
Yeah.
And be able to really support everything.
Yeah,
Like,
we want to go back to
things
take it back
first.
to Cambodia and take it around to schools, because this is, you know, art is really important, as I'm sure everyone here believes. But we're seeing Cambodia as like the poster child for like, look at what art can do when you have nothing. And we want to take it back and try to encourage art in schools here in the U.S. as well. So if we can just get to that point, that's all we're kind of focusing on right now.
Similar, we're in post-production as well. Still raising funds for, you know, we're editing the movie right now. And hopefully we're planning to complete it by December.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we're close, and so right now we're at that stage where the final stages of post-production. The movement part is something that we're already starting to work on the foundations of it. You know, there's a lot of outreach that we want to do with the film, and screening, and schools, and creating a toolkit to teach, you know, people how to make these instruments, and be able to spread it in the world. There's so many cateuras in the world that could really make use of that, and you know, get back to that art, being able to utilize and be resourceful with what they have in their environment. So to bring beauty out of that situation.
And we have some people who are just starting off on their journeys here in the audience tonight. What would your advice be to yourself 5 years ago, knowing what you know now?
Personally, I always felt follow your intuition. Just follow your intuition, because I always felt that we could do it. That's why I didn't, you know, that's why I'm like, we can do it. And you know, there were really hard moments, very hard moments. It was like a marriage now.
Yeah. That works a few times.
And it was like a marriage, but in my heart, and I'm sure in yours, it was like, there is something in there and it's worth it. And it's with film or it's with anything, it's just follow your intuition. And
we knew we had a powerful story. We knew that it had to be told. We knew it had to be out there. So, and we're glad we did it. It's changing so much, you know, the community in itself right now, and the whole of Paraguay. It's just, I'm very proud of it.
You should be.
also, getting the right partners. I want to mention John Fitzgerald is there and he's helping us to put together. John,
John, where are you? Oh, there you
are. Yes, we start together with the 2 of us, and then we start building a team. And then right now we have another, you know, executive producer with us, and So it's just finding partners that see the same vision and getting very close to the community. Like for us, like I feel like the people in the film is like my family now. You know, it's like I cannot let them down, and we cannot let down the people that are expecting to see our films. You know, that is such a big responsibility.
How do you, I'm curious because you're going between Cambodia and here, Hollywood, and you, Paraguay, and Haiti. How do you come back? And I mean, it must be very schizophrenic existence to come back and to this conspicuous consumption in our really nice lives and then go back to Haiti.
The truth is, I have so much gratitude. Every time I come back, I say, we're so lucky. And every time I go to Haiti, I say, I'm so lucky to be here. Because it is the people in Haiti, the energy, the art in Haiti. Everywhere, you know, the little buses in the street, they have competitions every year. They're painted so beautifully. My favorite one is Sylvester Stallone as Jesus Christ. One of the best ones in town. But the art that comes out of this country and the vibrancy, you know, so, and I've seen a lot of, listen, horrible, horrible things there. But I think we all have different constitutions, right? I'm not so great at some things, but one thing I'm good at is I can see, you know, I can be in the more burying kids. I hate to say that, but that's been part of my job in the past. And be okay with it in a way. And I think that's like a spiritual also sense that I have about something bigger. But it certainly is hard to balance that when you have a kid, you know, when you have a career. You know, I have another career. I call it this other career. But I also feel fortunate. It's like what you all talked about, having a passion for something, and you have that passion, and it's in your gut, and you just can't do anything but that. And now this year I've gotten tired. You know, that's why I'd love to speak to you guys afterwards about, you know, the giving up parts, the part where you're like, oh my God, this is so hard. I'm just tired, you know, and I'm starting to get out of it, but I'd love to hear about it, especially, you know, spending 5 years on that. Did you go through times like that?
Yes.
Where you just want to give up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you get through that?
We had to take a break for many months at some point that it just, too many things were happening, and it was sort of, we need to stop this right now and try to regroup and find a way. And so after taking some time, we just got back together to try to make this work, and it just paid off, you know, just to like trust it and keep going, you know.
Yeah. We've definitely had those moments as well, you know, because especially with a small team, you wear so many hats. You're like, great, okay, I guess I'll learn how to apply for a grant, and I guess that I can learn how to do marketing. Oh, color correction, okay, let's learn how to do that. And, you know, it's like, it's really, especially if you don't have the film background, and like, either way, it's the business side as well, that you're like, oh, I wasn't really expecting that I was gonna have to do that when I was thinking of capturing the story. But we've been lucky that my crap moments they've been staggering. Ours.
So they've never happened at the same time.
Yeah. So she'd be like, it's good, we're good, we're good, we're good. I'd be like, okay. And you know, vice versa, because it's like we have a very special trust that we both hold, you know, it's sacred for the two of us and for our partnership, and to be able to make this happen. As well as our support team behind us, friends and family, and so on. Because you know how it is when it's this rough, and it's everything. It consumes your everything, but you wouldn't want it any other way.
Right.
Because it's your child.
Yeah.
If you want to tell us.
Yeah, we need $35,000 just for editing, just base editing. But then, you know, there's so many other things that need to happen for it too.
But to get it made and distributed-ish, about 35.
Yeah.
And you've got a Kickstarter coming up.
In January. Yeah, we have one. We have postcards too if you want to learn more about it. Out on the front, the one with the diamonds. I learned how to do graphic design too. Well, we have, Creative Visions has been amazing in helping us craft our social action campaign. It's because, you know, like I said in the sizzle, film, we want to make a difference. And I think at one of the last panels earlier today, someone said it's not just about awareness anymore, it's about actually doing something.
Right.
And so we created the Cell Pack, which means art in Cambodian, but also is kind of like the pack, like run with the pack. And we're moving towards something. And so we really want to support the arts in Cambodia. The government doesn't help them at all. They have no resources whatsoever. In fact, in a lot of places in Cambodia, they don't even know that blue and yellow make green. Like, it's a lot about education. And so what we're doing is each of our 3 artists, we have programs that we're developing for dancing that preserve old dance while also helping to learn new ways to move the body. And that's with our dancer. And then with our textile, like helping, it didn't come out in the sizzle, but she uses only natural, no chemicals at all. It's all sustainable stuff, and using that to provide jobs for women that otherwise they might resort to other things, and then the art community too, and with that Viet wanted to create. So we're developing programs that will help do that, and Creative Visions has just been great. So yeah, that's going along with the film.
And we're trying to decide, because I'm a filmmaker, I know I want to, do something else than just films, but it's just running a non-profit organization. It has a lot of work, right? And also expertise. So we're trying to decide, do we want to do our own, or can we partner up with somebody? And so but we are definitely doing the movement, and we actually, a lot of, whatever source that we get, we spend money into putting together this movement, because after we launched the teaser, we got so many requests that it's like a lot of our work is not just producing the film, it's actually, it's like schools, churches being the agent of the orchestra now, and
Tour manager.
and it's like it's like literally like 12 hours a day work, not just producing the film, but doing, crazy requests that come our way.
So the
it's
movement will be a
organizing.
big thing that we need to organize. It's just we're trying to finish and focus on the film right now, try to edit it and have a movie. And we've already started, thanks to John, we're starting to have, the first conversations of how do we get started, how do we organize this? Should we get a partner? Should we just do our own nonprofit? So we're in that stage right now.
May I answer that as well?
Yeah.
Because I do have my own NGO in Haiti, and it started after the earthquake in 2010, when all of this aid was coming into the country after the earthquake. But the women I've worked with for years, these astounding women all over the countries, got nothing. Nothing. And they're the ones in their community that knew what to do with the money. So we did start a movement, I'm happy to say. Our organization is called We Advance. And in Haitian, in Creole, that's Not Français. So there's a song, and the whole women's movement is called Not Français. And we created, with the women in Haiti, this entire platform that now they're running. Our biggest thing right now, and I'm going to do a pitch too, because it's really, really hard to raise money, but we are doing something so off the grid and so different from what anyone's doing. I can't imagine, especially if anyone's in the technology world, you'll understand this. We started a web portal, website called We Advance University, and it's like Oprahizing Haiti. You know how when I was a kid, we never talked about abuse, mental illness, what was going on in our homes, until Oprah came on. And then it was like entertaining. We found like other people shared these things. So my partner in Haiti, her name is Barbara Guillaume, and she is the Oprah of Haiti. Women just all over the country listen to her, love her. She's an artist, she's a singer. They hear her songs all over the country. So the point of the website, We Advance University, is she'll interview somebody about breastfeeding. Someone's having a problem breastfeeding, or 2 to 7 minute videos. So she goes to this doctor at this clinic, and they talk a little bit, having fun, and then she said, okay, so when you have a baby and you have heart and it can't come up, then what do you do exactly? So now the 350 women's groups throughout the country, they have, basic internet service, and some of them have computers. So the women from that community can come to that place and either see stuff projected, or when they have an issue, look on the computer under, health of my child, under, how to bandage a wound, how to start your own business. And this model could be used for the rest of the world. I mean, internet and white space is making that internet space more accessible to many more people. So the website has taken 1.5 years to build, thanks to Claire Munn. She's helped us so much. She's such an activist as well. But it's like the next level. What does that mean? Because we also have a clinic, the only clinic in the poorest slum in the Western Hemisphere. So when we get money in, we're so torn between, okay, well, we have this huge educational platform that can affect many people, but also we have 200 people lining up every single day who never had health care that need help. So it's really hard. So if anyone's out there in that field and you feel compelled to speak to me about it afterwards, please do.
What was the name of the website?
We Advance University.
We Advance You.
We Advance You.
Just as an aside, when I first started dating my husband, he's a director and he works with all these fancy people, and I said, why don't you have more friends who are celebrities? We need to go on yachts and stuff so we can go and help the children. And he said, they're just unbearable, these celebrities. And I started to meet more through, going on set with him, and I realized that it's true until I met Maria, who is rebranding, being an actor, and using that spotlight. Any kind of mainstream, whatever she does, she always redirects the focus away from her, which is so un-actor-like, to the people who need it the most. And I'm just so happy that you're doing that, because it's such a wonderful example to everybody else in Hollywood. So we're so grateful.
You guys support. You deflect all the energy and help other people to build their dreams and their passion in a really positive way. So we're very similar in that way.
We're so great, both of us. So great.
I haven't had that question yet from the kids there. I don't. I think that their world is so completely different. Their day-to-day is just, I can't even explain. It's just very harsh. And for them, this music school, the music classes, is the biggest thing that have ever come to their life at this time, at this moment. Now, these children are traveling and they're coming back and bringing new experiences and talking about it, and the children, you can see they're opening their eyes now. So I think that the transition, has started, but we haven't had that question yet. They think it's funny. They see us with the cameras. They're curious. They're around us. We have to constantly be shushing when we're filming. It's a lot of fun. The kids have a great time when they see us, but we haven't had the kids ask us about film yet.
Not about film, but I have. There were definitely some other. We're trying to remember when, but we definitely did come across some people while we were filming, and it's like, oh, you're, because we're from LA, so it sounds like, oh, big filmmakers from LA. It's like, well, that's not really. Not today. That's not the case. But and they're like, well, why are you doing this? We're like, well, no one else is, and we know that we can do a very good job at it. And that was, I think, for them, is like, oh, you don't really need permission. You don't really need permission. You need yours. You need a support system, and then you follow your instinct. As you were saying.
This creative vision is very like a mentorship, and I think that that's crucial. With all of you being able to talk to each other, learn from each other. I think
oh, it's amazing. Can you imagine, the first time we sat around, they poured us the wine, and we're like, oh, you have that issue? Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, and it's good to have that community, especially with people that are, it's a wide range too. So we've gained some incredible mentors that we couldn't be more thankful to have, and we're grateful to you.
Erica, before this started, was saying, how do these people fund? I mean, how do you do it? How do you fund these things? You know, she was just kind of baffled. It's grant making, and what would have been the main sources of funding for you all?
I took out a $10,000 loan, personal loan, and that's how we got there and back. We can stretch a dollar. Yeah, and we bought like all our camera equipment. We did it very. That's been it so far.
Amazing. And how about you? What was it? The Kickstarter?
Kickstarter was a
Grants.
big main
Yeah.
source.
And what was your goal for Kickstarter?
200,000. No, it was
We had
175.
different
175.
goals.
175, but we got
It's really good.
Right. And then Maria through
Grants to, excuse me,
Grants, yeah.
grants, donations to creative visions, translation, and of course, like personal loans and
Credit card.
like deferral payments and stuff like that.
My bank account, pretty much. A few grants. It's difficult to get grants for the type of work that I do. I'm sure that you do as well. And just really good folks showing up, you know, like I had a premiere, remember, for the movie Prisoners, and online we auctioned off, like, come meet Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal, like 2 tickets for the premiere, and I think we made like $3,000, but for us that was a lot, you know? So it's those sorts of things, and I think it's individuals, you know, a lot of times that show up and support you, and not only give you money, but give you their time, give you their expertise in certain things.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us. I, watched these clips and I think, oh, I have to do something with my life. And then, oh, I kind of am, but